Let me ask you something. How do you build a complete NFL roster? Do you go heavy on offense and let the line figure itself out? Do you stack skill positions and hope your quarterback survives the pocket? Because the Chargers just made some bold moves in this draft. Moves that make it clear they're building for now, not later. They added speed. They added playmakers. They added depth at positions that burned them last year. Now, it's time to see the most surprising pick of the NFL Draft 2025 by the Chargers and what they missed. It is important to know what's their post-draft strategy. Let's get into it. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. This was one of the deeper tight end classes we've seen in a while, and the Chargers were able to take full advantage. They landed Oronde Gadsden II late in the 5th round, a value pick that reflects both the depth of the class and some smart maneuvering by Joe Hortiz. Dane Brugler had Gadsden graded as a 4th-round talent and ranked him as his 131st overall player. The Chargers grabbed him at pick number 165. To make it happen, Hortiz got aggressive. The Chargers had 4 picks in the 6th round this year, 1 from the Patriots and 2 compensatory selections. Hortiz packaged the Patriots' 6th rounder, along with one of those comp picks to jump back into the 5th round and secure Gadsden. It was a calculated move to get a player whose skill set clearly fills a need. Gadsden originally came to Syracuse as a wide receiver, but transitioned to tight end in his sophomore year. That year, he put up 61 catches for 964 yards and 6 touchdowns. Big-time production for a player still adjusting to the position. He missed most of the 2023 season with a Lisfranc injury, but bounced back strong in 2024, posting 73 catches for 934 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's nearly 6'5" with a long frame, wide catch radius, and enough speed to stretch the field. According to Brugler, Gadsden ranked 2nd in the FBS last season with 17 contested catches, a clear sign of his ability to win in tight windows. The Chargers already had a strong blocking presence in Will Dissly. They also added a reliable short to intermediate target in Tyler Conklin. What they didn't have was a vertical threat at tight end, someone who could attack the seam and create explosive plays downfield. That's exactly where Gadsden fits in. Now, earlier in the draft, there were other tight ends who might have offered more complete profiles, guys like Colston Loveland, Elijah Arroyo, or Terrence Ferguson. But rather than reaching early, the Chargers chose to wait and capitalize on a deep class. They walked away from day 3 with a player who brings a specific and needed element to their offense. A potential mismatch weapon at tight end who can stretch defenses and make tough catches in traffic. In terms of value and fit, this was one of the more underrated moves of their entire draft. Coming into the draft, I fully expected the Chargers to take a wide receiver within the first 2 days, and they did. He gives Herbert a contested catch target outside the numbers, someone who can win physical matchups down the sideline. That pick made perfect sense. But what I didn't expect was this: another wide receiver just 3 rounds later. The Chargers took Harris at number 55. Then at number 158, they grabbed KeAndre Lambert-Smith. And that raised some eyebrows, not because Lambert-Smith isn't talented, but because LSU guard Miles Frazier was still on the board. That was a spot where the Chargers could have added a real candidate to start at left guard, but instead they doubled up at receiver. Now, to be fair, Lambert-Smith brings something this offense didn't really have: top-end speed. Mike Williams and Harris are vertical receivers, but they're not burners. McConkey has burst, but he works best from the slot. Quentin Johnston is dangerous after the catch, but not necessarily a true deep threat. Lambert-Smith clocked a 4.37 at the Combine. He was 3rd in the FBS last year with 5 catches of 50-plus yards. He's a home run hitter, plain and simple. So yes, taking 2 receivers in a 4-pick span caught me off guard. But if the goal was to round out the passing game with speed, separation, and depth, it tracks. Still, the more pressing issue is what the Chargers didn't do. They waited until the 6th round, pick number 199, to draft an offensive lineman. That pick was Branson Taylor, a tackle from Pitt. The plan? Move him to guard. But here's the thing: Taylor never played guard in a game during college. He said he took some practice reps there as a freshman, and that's about it. That's a pure gamble, and it adds to a growing question. Have the Chargers done enough to fix their biggest weakness from 2024? Let's be honest. The interior offensive line was a problem last year. The team had issues protecting Herbert, and it cost them, especially in that playoff loss to the Houston Texans. They brought in Mekhi Becton in free agency to play right guard, but he's dealt with repeated injuries, including a lingering knee issue. So now, post-draft, the Chargers are looking at a handful of options at center and left guard, but none of them are clear upgrades. Zion Johnson, Bradley Bozeman, and Andre James will battle it out for the center job. At left guard, it's Bozeman, Johnson again, James, Trey Pipkins III, Jamaree Caldwell, and Branson Taylor all in the mix. That's a lot of names, but not a lot of answers. And here's the part that stings. They had chances. Georgia guard Tate Ratledge was there at pick number 55. They passed. Miles Frazier was available at picks 86, 125, and 158. Again, they passed. Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions, who've built arguably the best offensive line in football over the last 2 seasons, took Ratledge in the 2nd and Frazier in the 5th. That's how you build a front. The Chargers instead drafted a college tackle and planned to move him inside. Maybe it works, but if it doesn't, the interior offensive line could be the limiting factor for this team in 2025. To be clear, they do deserve credit for what they've done elsewhere. Herbert has more weapons now. He got a true 1-2 punch in the backfield with Najee Harris and Hampton. The receiver group has size, speed, and versatility. The tight end room is deep. The defense added beef on the interior with Jamaree Caldwell and a developmental edge rusher in Kennard, who gets to learn behind Khalil Mack, Tuli Tuipulotu, and Bud Dupree. In the secondary, they brought in safety RJ Mickens from Clemson, who will compete with Tony Jefferson behind Derwin James Jr., Elijah Molden, and Alohi Gilman. Even at cornerback, things are getting crowded. 7 guys, including 7th-round pick Trickways Bridges out of Florida, fighting for 6 spots. This will be one of the more competitive camp battles we see. And remember, this front office isn't done. Last year, Hortiz was aggressive after the draft. He signed Dupree and DJ Chark in May, added Tier Tart during camp, and pulled off trades for Molden and Taylor Heineke just before the season started. So it wouldn't be surprising if they dipped back into free agency soon, especially for the interior line. Brandon Scherf and Will Hernandez are still out there. Those are the kinds of names that could bring some much-needed stability. Plus, the Chargers signed 18 undrafted free agents in almost every position, including quarterback. They are all interesting names and deserve a full-length video analysis. I will do it tomorrow for you, and honestly, I am surprised to see the list. The Chargers got some draftable guys on very cheaper deal. Now it's the coaching staff's duty to get the maximum out of them, and I absolutely believe in Harbaugh and company. So as it stands right now, this might be the deepest post-draft roster I've seen from the Chargers in years. The only real question mark is up front. If they can patch that hole, this team could be a legitimate contender. If not, all those new weapons might not matter. Because in the NFL, especially in the AFC, games are won and lost in the trenches. So guys, what do you think? Are you satisfied with the Chargers selections? What do you think about the front core? Do you think the Chargers should go aggressively in free agency and sign some big names? Still available? It is also important to know the salary cap situation. I will cover this also in an upcoming video.